Hello all, so today we are going to see a very interesting demonstration. So if you are here to know how we can really set up a minikube cluster in just 2 minutes of time, so you are at the right place. So the prerequisites first, I am going to what do you basically need to do this particular setup. So I am basically making the use of Ubuntu Server 20.04 LTS, and it should have minimum 2 virtual CPUs, and it should also have 4 GB of RAM. Just to tell you that I am basically using AWS to instantiate Ubuntu machine. So without any delay, I am moving back to my repo. So you can see that I will be making the use of this repository, which is a Chirag 99969 CCAD exercises. And you can see that here I have basically kept a shell script, and I will be making the use of this particular shell script to instantiate a minikube cluster in a minimum amount of time, so that you will not be having any hassles, right? So let's get started. So here I am at my AWS console. I'm just letting you know that how I am basically making the use of my Ubuntu server machine. Probably if you also want to do the similar kind of setup. So let me call it as minikube, and I will be making the use of Ubuntu machine. And as I said that I have tested this particular thing on 20.04 version, so I will be making the use of that version itself. So if I scroll down, the minimal requirement should be 2 virtual CPUs, and therefore I will not be selecting T2.micro. I will be going ahead with T2.medium. So it has got 2 virtual CPUs and 4 gigs of memory. So it should basically do my purpose. So this is the key pair I am going to make a use of, and I will be creating a new security group, and I will be restricting it to my IP address. If I click on launch instance, it will just take probably 15-20 seconds. So if I go to see view all instances, you can see that this is the machine I am basically going to make a use of. So it is still in pending status. If I try to refresh once again, so nevertheless, I will be getting the IP address. I will copy this IP address. Now I will be making the use of my MOBA Xterm, or you can also use SSH putty for that matter. So I will be going to make a use of new session. So this is the IP address, and by default, just give me a second. I will just be making the use of my private key pair, and this is the one, and I will click on OK. So let me see if I am able to establish a connection with my Ubuntu server or not. It is taking a little bit of time, and yes, I think I am getting authenticated, and I will clear my screen. I will make it little big. So what I'm going to do it here is, so just make sure that you have a Git version. You can see that it has already gotten pre-configured, so no worries about that. Now I am going to make a use of my repo. You can also make a use of my repository. So for example, here, if I just give me a second. So this is the README file, and if I go to CCAD exercises, you can see that this is the repository I am using, and I will be making the use of this particular shell script. So what can I do? I'm just going to clone the entire repository, and I will just paste it. So it will take another 10 seconds. If I try to list, this is my current directory. If I try to list, you can see that this particular repository has already been copied. So if I navigate to this particular repository, if I do ls-l, you can see that this is the shell script I'm going to make a use of, right? So without any delay, I will be clearing my screen. Now what I'm going to do is I will be doing minikube. You can see this is the cluster, and so it will take certain amount of time. Meanwhile it is getting completed, I just want to let you know, I will be demonstrating how you can basically create a three single node cluster using kube ADM where we will be having 3 virtual machines at minimum. One will be the central node, and the 2 other nodes will be set up as an worker nodes. So that demonstration will also be coming in our subsequent videos, so please stay tuned for our channel and just let me know your feedback if it does your purpose, right? So often we have seen that setting up a minikube cluster is little troublesome, and we are trying to make it little easy for you so that you can get started with your CCAD or CKA or CKS exercises. You can see that I have got my terminal back. Now what I can do here is, if I try to go to my repository once again, if I click on this shell script, what you can do here is everything has already been taken care of. But if you can see that this is the last line, I'm just copying it. So I'm just going to start my minikube cluster. Let me clear my screen. I will be pasting this command. You can see that minikube start a VM driver. So we are basically using Docker as a container runtime, and we are also making use of Calico for our networking as well. So it will again take a little bit of time, as it is going to pull the base image of Kubernetes from the Google Container Registry. So it is going to take some time, and we are also making the use of minimal configuration. As you have seen, 2 virtual CPUs and only 4 gigs of memory, and therefore it is taking a little bit of time, but we will be good in next 2 minutes from here on. So meanwhile it is getting completed, you please stay tuned on my channel. I will be making the use of I will be demonstrating how you can basically create a Kubernetes environment which will mimic your production setup. As I was telling, so we will be creating a 3-node clusters, and so one will be acting as a central node, and the another two Ubuntu machines will be acting as a worker nodes. So that is coming up, and I'm also making certain exercises with respect to the CCAD or CKA scenarios. So please have a look at my channel and let me know if it is helping you or not. So I think it will take another 30 seconds. This is just the instantiation and configuration process. So it might take a little bit of time, and you can see that we will have our minikube cluster up and running within very small period of time from here on. So we can see that some of the messages which are coming up. So booting up control plane. And I will also be making or demonstrating some of the scenarios how you can basically create CI/CD pipeline, and there are other videos with respect to the Splunk as well in our channel. So please make sure that you check out those videos if it interests you. Or so yes, we have got our terminal back. So if I clear my screen, let me see minikube status. So you can see that our minikube is basically up and running, and now you can basically do any kind of the exercises pertaining to CCAD scenarios or CKA scenarios or CKS scenarios. So stay tuned in our channel, and please let me know whether you like this particular video or not. Thank you.